also got favor, them blessings falling like water. Wake up to new grace, thank God that's my father. I'll pass every test and then I'll go harder. Let go. They say it's standing on business, I say it's standing on pay.
What's up, what's fly, and what's happening? Welcome back, inmates. You are tuned in again with the podcast that goes behind the bars of local and international artists, as well as discusses the culture in real time. Because as I always say, a life lived is a bar. We are in Queen City for this episode in Charlotte, North Carolina, talking to the supervisor. That's right, Supervisor Ashia Simpson. Get ready for an in-depth conversation about her role as a supervisor, the Grand Old Church of God in Christ, her love life, and what exactly drives her to wake up and pray. So grab a seat, settle in, because it's about to be a bumpy ride. Let's go. CEO of Zed Marketing, prayer warrior of Wake Up Girl and Pray, and the mind behind the vision coach. She is Supervisor of Women UAE Dubai and serves in her local church, Abundant Faith Worship Center. She lives by the belief that vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. Welcome back to Behind Bars, Miss Supervisor Ashia Simpson.
What's up, Behind Bars? It's been a while.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you back. And I'm really excited about the conversation that we're going to have this evening because I think it's an important conversation that needs to be had. And I think there's nobody better to have it than with you. But before we get going, I do want to just take a moment. We understand that your family just recently lost a great missionary, Charlotte Cunningham. And can you just talk briefly about who she was and what she meant to you personally?
I just told my mom that Charlotte was the best missionary that she had. Everything that she needed, everything that she desired, it seemed like Charlotte would be right on it. But that's because she was trained by the best missionary in the West Michigan area by Mother Gert Wright. But Charlotte was an amazing woman, intelligent beyond understanding. And if anybody from South Haven you know her call. Her call is Jamion. So if you grew up in South Haven, you knew what that means when she said in the middle of our games. No matter what we was playing, it was Jamion. So she definitely will be missed. Our family is definitely saddened. 6 Cunningham girls now. The link has been broken to 5. So keep us in your prayers as we prepare for this, and may she rest in heaven. What an amazing woman of God. So we love you, Jamie, and we love you to the Cunningham 8. We love all of them, and we're praying for all of them.
Absolutely. So just to kind of get started, though, we want to lay the foundation of where we're going with this. It's said that from birth to age 8 is the most formative years of a child's life, where physical, cognitive, social, and emotional development lays the foundation for future learning, behavior, and well-being. What was 8-year-old Ashia Simpson like? Other than your faith, what was laid on your foundation?
8-year-old Ashia Simpson grew up in one of the best communities that you could ever imagine. 8-year-old Ashia Simpson had a village of people who was blood, who was not related, but I can go back even through my years as 8-year-old and remember Pawpaw and remember Mother Wilkins and remember Mother, all the church mothers. So it was not only faith, but we had a community. Everybody was family. Everybody was connected. 8-year-old Ashia Simpson could ride around and not worry about nothing else and not worry about what was happening. We had certain blocks we could go to. We had certain areas we could go to, and you were corrected by anybody. It wasn't any boundaries to that. My mom ran the park, and so we spent a lot of time at Elkenberg Park. We spent a lot of time at Lincoln School, and up and down those blocks with good friends that I grew up with, and I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Absolutely. So many people would describe you as being spoiled or a crybaby or whatever the thing. But aside from that, because that's other people's perception. Aside from that, like on the inside, had you began to form your own opinions and thoughts about the world yet? And was it much, in line with your family, or were you kind of having your own view on things?
I started gaining my own opinion and views on life very early. I believe that I had the best of both worlds. I had faith base was on both sides, but I had a strong church background from one side of my family. And then I had Granny who taught me how to be loyal in the streets, who taught me how to move, who taught me how to go in and out. Um, and so I believe that while I was put in a place to my opinions to be formed about certain situations, I believe that I still was given a level of freedom that said, this is what the world is. And you got it from this side of the perspective, and you got it from this side of the wall. And now you choose your path. Even though I had a sibling growing up, he was 7 years older than me. So he was gone by the time I was in the 6th grade. So I was almost like an only child. And so I had to kind of just grasp life. I had to rely on my cousins. My first cousins were my brothers and sisters. My friends were who I relied on to be shaped. And so in that area, I found myself gravitating to older people. And so I think I matured a lot faster than what the normal 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 13-year-old, all the way up to those ages would.
Now, you're hitting on something that I was actually going to ask about. So I'm going to recite some bars to you from Play My song, Preacher's Kid.
Was in the days, and look what footsteps I followed. My homie's mom was a preacher, her daddy was once a deacon. Still we rolled up together, the weed and how we was leaving. We heard the same teaching, but somehow it wasn't reaching. Cause we was together sneaking, fighting, cussing, and drinking. Through all the songs that we sang, everything that we did, life was kinda the same. I hung with the preachers. Tell me to dream big, a tall task for a little kid, living nightmares. So many tears that I done shed, do the Lord care? They judge me, know my past is ugly. I came up from struggle and only my mama loved me. And when my son was...
It says, my homie's mama was a preacher. Her daddy was once a deacon. Still we rolled up together, the weed and how we was leaving. We heard the same teaching, but somehow it wasn't reaching. Cause we was together sneaking, fighting, cussing, and drinking. Through all the songs we sang and everything that we did, life was kind of the same. I hung with the preacher's kid. I was going to ask the question for you to talk about how someone with your upbringing ends up in some of the situations you found yourself in. You kind of hit on it there a little bit, though, but just talk a little bit more about that.
I am a firm believer that I made choices. It wasn't about, a lot of times we put things on, this is how I was brought up, this is how I was raised. No, I made choices to do this stuff. I made choices to drink at an early age. I made choices to smoke weed. I made choices to party. And I don't have a sensitive testimony that said, oh, the world just beat me up. I enjoyed the world when I was out there. I had a grand time. Somebody told me, you got the proudest weed testimony that I've ever heard in my life. No, I had a grand time when I was in the world. Some bad moments, but that's why I go so hard in the church, because it was good to me out there. So I think a lot of that, I was given because I was given the freedom. It wasn't a chain on me that, you go live safe, or we not go listen to R&B in our house, or you can't do this, or you can't go to the party. I had enough freedom to make my own opinion. And then I didn't understand, but now I understand the value of building a relationship with God and how that impacted me having that openness and to be able to experience, because some of the stuff I learned in the world, I would never learn in the church. I think the church lacks loyalty. They don't know how to be loyal, but I learned that in the streets. I learned how to be loyal to people and how to depend on people and how to take care of other people. I learned that from the streets. I didn't learn that in the church.
That's good. That's real good. So before I get to that, because that is something we was very aligned on this conversation, but go back to something you kind of glossed over. You said you had a ball in the world some bad times, but I had a ball. Talk about the bad times, because something led you to want to abandon the world.
I talked about it maybe about 2 weeks on social media. Every time I talk about it, I get teary eyed. I'm not crying on this podcast. I talked about it on
I
social
ain't got
media
no
a few weeks ago.
tissue,
Yeah,
so
no, I ain't crying on this podcast. I'm not. Everybody had got saved. Everybody had got saved, and I experienced the loss of my son. I had to come back home. I felt like I had failed in Atlanta. And the one thing that I was, and I don't want to go too deep into that, but the one thing that I was, that we're put on the earth to do as women, to birth, I felt like I failed at it, and I wasn't able to successfully birth my firstborn child. And so when I came back home, everybody was in this weird mode of, they was going to prayer at 6 a.m. I mean, everybody, all the people I smoked weed with, I hung out with, I drank with, and I'm like, what's going on? I sat at a table with Mama Sita. Y'all don't know who Mama Sita is, if you know. Sat at a table with Mama Sita at her house one day, and everybody had gotten saved. And she looked at me, and I don't even think she was in church then. And she looked at me and said, why won't you just get saved? I said, hey, about to roll up. What you talking about? She said, everybody else is saved. And it was so sincere. She said, everybody else is saved. Why won't you just get saved? And then she went to talk about how blessed I was because of my grandfather, and blessed I was not to experience the bad parts of life. And she was telling me about grace and how it's brought me through this far, and why won't I just give it all to him? Said, you sad, your friends saved. And if y'all know Mama Sita, she don't like for nobody to be sad or be down. She absorbed that, and she said, you sad, your friends are saved. Why won't you just give your life to Christ? So I did have some bad moments. The loss of my son, depression, suicidal attempts, all of those were, it seemed like when it rained, it poured. Those were really bad moments. So those moments led to depression. And so those were really dark moments in my life. And then that's when I was like, you know what? I done did everything else. I done been in the world. I done partied. I done partied with the best. I done did everything else. Why not just try it? Why not go back to what I know to try? Everybody else say it worked. Why don't I just give it a chance and give it an opportunity? And that's what I started doing. I started leaning more into it. And I didn't do the original go to the altar and you go tarry and you go get it. You just go decide one day on a Sunday night, you go get saved. It kind of gradually happened. I started listening to the Bible, going to work. I was driving like 45 minutes to work, listening to the Bible experience every day going to work. And it just started getting in my heart, getting in my soul. And the more I smoked, the more I felt like upset, or the more I was sad, the more I was down. And I was like, yeah, this ain't working for me. And it just started gradually changing. And then that listening to the word turned into prayer, and prayer turned into worship. And then worship turned into a lifestyle. So it was something that was built upon me, that God, I knew he was changing my situations and circumstances.
That's good. That's good. Now, you said something that I want to go back to it, because you mentioned that you learned loyalty in the street. Before you was Supervisor Simpson, before you was a missionary, you was just Big Baby. And are there other things that Big Baby experienced that now serve you as Supervisor Simpson?
Absolutely. Loyalty is the number one. Loyalty definitely is the number one. But how to be a good friend, how to move amongst people. I can go in and out of anywhere. I can go they say you want to witness in the club. I can go in the club and witness. And I'm finding out that women who did not grow up in church, they're drawn to me. And I keep saying, why do I keep getting these same type of people? And God finally was like, it's what you're called to. You just need to embrace what I've called you to do, who I've called you to be. And so I think that allows me to move differently. Even though you can see my light, hopefully you see a little bit of swag when I walk into place. You see, oh, she a little different. Now, she may not be like us, but something attracts us to us besides her light for the love for Christ and all that. But something makes me attractive to her. When you see me on social media, I want them to say, yeah, she
Still
might
got
be
a little zone girl on her.
What? What? It will never go away. Stumping with my boots on. I was boots on the ground before boots was on the ground. I've been boots on the ground. So I think, and I want to say it's something about a Michigan girl, and maybe even about a zone girl. We got a different kind of swag than most women, and maybe it's because we grew up around the YNs. Can I say that on here?
You
I
say
can't
whatever
say
you
it.
want to say. I mean,
because we grew up
just
around.
don't get uncapped.
I won't, because we grew up around the YNs and we knew how to move. I think Michigan girls that's why I love Cash so much. I love me some Cash style.
Yeah. So you've been very open about not really wanting or having a desire for this position, right? Is watching your mom as a supervisor or your grandfather as a bishop, is that what made you not want it, or was it more personal?
My prayer was when I first got saved, whatever you do, don't give me the anointing of my mother. I know that's probably sound crazy. People want that. Give me the anointing of my mom. Let me get the mantle. I was dodging it. I don't want it, because I saw the byproducts of that weren't always positive. Sometimes it was very negative. Sometimes she was a target. She took hits that she probably wouldn't have taken if she didn't have the title, if she didn't have the anointing. So my prayer for years as a saved woman, I don't want that, God. I don't want to be called to leaders. I don't want pastors to trust me. I don't want to lead women. I don't want to be acknowledged as the preacher's kid. Even if I'm living saved, just let me live like I'm living, because I didn't want the negativity that I saw growing up because of it. And my grandfather, I always say that he probably would have went a lot further than he went really far in the church, but he probably would have went a lot further if he played chess and not checkers. And I'm saying that he didn't make bad moves. He made godly moves. And with him making godly moves, people were making political moves. And because he wasn't willing to sell out for the politics, it didn't push him as far as he probably would have went if he would have sold out for the politics and for the position. So I didn't want to be involved. I didn't want to have to make that choice. Do I go with politics, or do I keep myself righteous? Do I keep myself pure? And so it's such a fine line, and it's such a hard fight, especially in this day and age. He didn't even have social media or influences like that, but I didn't want any of that at all. No.
So then I said something at your celebration that you had at your church, or your elevation service, that I believe to be true. And I don't know if everyone believes this or not. I just want your thoughts on it. I said that the work is what draws you to this, not the title. The work and the call, not the title. Do you feel like sometimes people believe that you're in this for the title? Have you been able to get across to people that you're in it for the work?
I think I gave up trying to prove that I'm in it for the work. People are going to have their own opinion about you. People think it's nepotism because of my brother. People think it is something legacy, of course, nepotism and legacy because of my grandfather. People want to know where I came from, why I'm not running after people, I'm not.
Well, wait a minute, stop right there, Supervisor, because what is wrong with nepotism and legacy?
Absolutely nothing.
Nepotism, that's what the world is built on.
Nepotism is only wrong to the person who doesn't have a legacy built for them. People who don't have a legacy or nothing to follow behind, they consider nepotism something negative. But when you have a legacy that you're building, and you building generational wealth, you're building generational moments for your people, then you know that I need this to work for them. I'm doing this. My grandfather did this. He stayed pure so that we could move and advance without having to pay to be bishops. I'm going to get in trouble, Lord, without having to pay for this, without having to do these things. So I think it works. But they don't see the time I put in fasting. If I don't tell the story that I said no the first time, I said no the second time, that they won't even know that. They would just think, oh, she took a position because of her brother. No, I did not want this. I wanted to date. I wanted to wear my shoulder out. I wanted to be.
And you're doing all of that, mommy.
Hey. I was trying to figure out how am I going to balance this and still be, my peers are 65 and 70.
Yeah.
So how am I balancing this?
Them your co-laborers. Them ain't your peers.
Them is my, well, they somebody. They 65 and 70. So even when I'm around them, I'm like, Lord, get their cane, get their purse. Help mother out. I'm an adjutant. Even with my own mom, I'm an adjutant. They like, hi, Supervisor, hi, Sister Simpson, because I'm an adjutant today. I'm with my mama. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be associated with it.
But let's settle in this too, because you said something that it's a tagline now, generational wealth, and it means something different to most people that use it. But when you say you creating generational wealth, creating a spiritual bank that your kids can and your grandkids can draw from, and that because there were times out in the streets where if we didn't have that bank to deposit, where would we be?
For the praying mama. So
that's the greatest generational wealth. And if it was money, nobody would have an issue with them leaving you money and leaving you a business. But it's so much greater than that.
I often ask, why weren't we morticians? Why wasn't we? Why didn't we sell life insurance? Why weren't we real? Morticians, they create good legacy for their family. Why wasn't we? Why didn't you open a funeral home? Why didn't you go open that club you said you want to open in New York? Why didn't you keep drinking the Jack Daniels, Bishop? I mean, because that would have been a lot easier to handle. But I have said in these last few months that we're so focused on breaking generational curses that we forget to build generational blessings. Right. And so we so focused on that. We got to break this curse. We got to break this curse when there is places and things out there that we could start establishing blessings. Because maybe it's just the possibility that you're not the one in line to break the curse, but maybe you're the one to start the blessing that's going to combat the curse, that's going to stop the curse. And the way that we're trying to break it is not working. So let's build a generational blessing, a generational legacy and wealth for your children because it says, and her children's children will rise up. So I think that it's been a mindset shift for me to say, I'm working on generational blessings in this season. And God, whatever you need to break from me while I'm building generational blessings, go ahead and break those things off me.
That's good. Now, and I want to preface this because I have my own view on this. And I think a lot of times when you say this, people think you're advocating for people not to go to church. Let me just, because you're a millennial supervisor. So listen to this. This is from Cray.
They said washing the river of Jordan, wipe away your sins like I've done mine. And the people, then they'll be equals. There's too many sinkholes we've left behind. I'm losing my religion. I've realized I wasn't built for these conditions. I gave up my all. When I felt lost, not a one of y'all called. When I took off, everybody else stalled. I don't really understand what y'all on, what y'all want. I can't live, can't be free, I can't be here. Gave my sweat, gave my tears, gave up all the best of my years. I done gave everything, I ain't gained anything. Just pain and more sadness, just broad strokes, blank stares, no details and no canvas. Nah, I ain't living for your love. Case dismissed, I don't need another judge. I done got everything off my chest, but I got one more thing to confess. I'm losing my religion. I've realized I wasn't built for these conditions.
They say, wash in the river of Jordan, wipe away your sins like I've done mine. And the people, then they'll be equals. There's too many sinkholes we left behind. I'm losing my religion. I realize I wasn't built for these conditions. Right? So tell me, how has religion failed us and how has it helped?
What I found out is the older people did everything that they could to stay safe. While a lot of it was religious activity and very religious things that they put in place, they did not want to do anything that hindered their possibility of having, if it hindered their relationship with the Father, nope, don't do it. So I think that gave me a standard. But as I got older and my relationship formed with Christ, I realized that their standard was not my standard. And in a lot of ways, religion did fail me because I thought things should be one way, and God was like, "That ain't what I called for. That's not what I had you to do. If I called you to be Mother Cunningham, then I didn't need you. I need you to be Ashia. If I called you to be Fanny Ruth, I didn't need you. I needed you to be Ashia. I didn't need you to be them. I need you to use their standard and then build upon it so that you can impact the nation that you're set to impact." So it failed me in a lot of ways, a lot of things that I saw. Because as being in a ministry family, you see a lot. You see a lot of hurt. You see a lot of pain. You see a lot of stuff that you just said that I don't want. That's a lot of reasons why I didn't want to be in ministry, because of the things I saw. And a lot of that I know now was religious behavior. And so it kind of drew me away from the church, because y'all talking about me, but I said it a few weeks ago, but the people in the world were embracing me. Y'all wasn't listening, but the people in the world was listening. They were sitting down smoking with me, listening. And I had an ear. I had people who I could trust. And I didn't have to worry about hearing it over the pulpit. I didn't have to worry about hearing it in the streets. With a few people you did, but overall, you didn't have to worry about it. So a lot of religious behaviors, wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard. So because I want to be seen and I want to be heard, I'll be a little birdie that drops stuff and drop crumbs. Those were hurtful moments, but I decided that my relationship with him was personal.
Right.
That it was very personal.
So then, if I'm correct, I hear you saying that not being religious has nothing to do with not going to church or being part of an organization. It has to do with not being bound by the things that you know have no bearing on your walk.
What organization can you go to and that you can say that you agree 100% with the way they
Not
move?
one.
If I don't like it, it just don't apply to me. What they say, what the old people say, eat the meat, spit out the bone. Yeah, spit out the bone. It says the wheat and the tare do what? Grow together. So you gotta find out what works. There's some stuff that my bishop be saying. I'll be like, now bishop, now
Right.
you know.
Right.
But I have to decide. That's what having a relationship with him, because what inflicts your spirit may not inflict me. Even when we fasting and we praying, they're like, okay, I ain't go eat until 6. Well, I only eat once a day.
Right.
So what's that doing for me? But
Right.
You tell me to turn off that social media.
Right.
I'm going to have to consult with the Father. You tell me to not turn on the TV. Then I'm going to be like, okay, now I got to consult with the Father. So that's when it becomes personal, that I just don't need your rules. I don't need your bylaws to tell me how to move. I need to have a relationship so I can hear the Holy Spirit. When I go and I'm at the party and I go to pour a glass of wine, he gonna say, now you know good and well that ain't gonna work for you.
That's it.
That ain't gonna work.
That's it. The relationship is what guides you.
The relationship is what talks you through those moments.
Talks you through it.
Oh, you still go try to drink a glass of wine? Oh, I'm gonna give you a migraine because you know you ain't supposed to be doing it. But that's my relationship with him. That's not this person's relationship. That's not that person's relationship. So this is what it hinders my relationship with him. And anything that hinders my relationship, that's why they didn't want to wear pants. That's why they didn't wear lipstick. That's why they didn't go to the movies, because they thought that was going to be a hindrance to their relationship with him. And I don't want to offend the one who's the lover of my soul. I don't want to offend him in any way. And he's not going to offend, because the Holy Spirit is a gentleman. It's kind. It's not abusive. Yeah, no, it's not abusive. And I'm gonna give you some room. I'm gonna let you run out, and then when I have to pull you back in, I'm gonna pull you back in. But it's about having a stable relationship with him, and you got to be able to hear what he's saying, because he's not yelling over your mess.
Exactly. So your relationship actually allows you not to be offended by other people's, you know what I mean? The things that govern them and the things that convict them. It doesn't have to
I
offend
always
you.
say, I know I'm saved.
Right.
You don't know like I know what he's done for me.
You better
That's
sing that
real. I know. I mean, and it's moments that he reminds me,
No.
you are saved, because
Yes.
you would have snapped out, or you would have been sad after this, or you would have given up after this. But don't nobody else have to pat me on the back and say, Ashia, you saved. No, there's moments where the Holy Spirit also reminds me. He just don't slap me with his sandal on the back of my neck. He reminds me, he hugs me and gives me genuine love to say, you saved. You made it through this test. You didn't do what you did last time. You didn't fail. You ain't down because of this. You didn't respond. You didn't speak out of frustration. So he reminds me that, because the word says, to the pure, all things are pure, and he keeps me pure.
So do you think that your willingness to deviate from religious rules and things of that nature, do you think that's what helps to keep you encouraged and strong in this role? Yeah.
It's a fight. So this is where I learned. I was in a organization for women, and in that organization, I kept disrupting their foundations and disrupting their beliefs. And I was like, God, why you keep sending me places to interrupt their process of things that they already got in place? And he said it clearly. You are a disruptor of organizational structure. What? I don't want to do that, because that means that somebody's going to be upset with me. Somebody's going to be frustrated. He said, but it's not just to disrupt it. You can break it up, but now I need you to stay to put it back together. Now, it's a state choice if they listen to it. It's state choice if they utilize the knowledge and the wisdom that I've given you to put it back together so that it can go out and reach another level. Because if I'm not reaching somebody else that they want to reach, well, my reach should extend beyond what they're reaching. So what would be the point of me being the supervisor? So when I walked into that role, they probably would call me a rebel, because I'm not moving like everybody else. And it's not an attack on them. It doesn't look down on them, but I'm just not, because it doesn't work.
That's good. Now, well, we might as well. Let's talk about the dress.
The infamous red dress.
Let's talk. I call it the dress heard round the grand old church.
The red dress.
The red dress.
Mighty deliverer.
Yeah.
Mighty Christ.
Take us back to January of last year, when, now
It's been a long year.
It's been a long year. You FaceTimed me when the dress came.
And I knew when I put
and
it
we
on.
And we kind of was like, hey, yeah, it's a risk, but.
And I said, we out here.
Yeah, it is what it is.
All of us.
It is.
We out here.
What it is. So what ensued to me was ugly, though. I think it was a real ugly situation. And so, well, just kind of catch the people up who don't know what we're talking about when we say the dress.
I wore a dress to my birthday party. What was that? 43. My 43rd birthday party. I missed birthday 40. Let me go back to say that. I missed birthday 40 because of COVID. And every birthday after that was kind of like, let's try to make it up. Well, my brother decided that because our birthdays are so close, it was his 50th. I'm going to share it with you. And we're going to have a sneaker ball. When I got the dress and it came in the mail, I put it on. Y'all, the dress was like $69 from. They ain't plugging us. Take their name out of here unless they go give us a deal.
Yeah.
The dress was like, see, I was just trying to have a good time. I spent more money on my sneakers than I did on my dress. When I put it on, I said, this is kind of risky. I called you. I said, this is kind of risky. This is going to be pretty interesting. I said, but I'm grown. And when I put it on and I went downstairs, my bishop didn't say nothing. My mama didn't say nothing. If it would have been too much, I'm assuming she would have said, or if she would have been offended by it, she would have said, hey, wear your safety pin, or you need to put something under that. But they knew it was my birthday party and I wasn't going to be in the area of the supervisor. Even though I believe I carry who I am, my anointing everywhere I go, we was having a good time. And after I wore the dress and I posted pictures of happy birthday to me, there was a post that was put up that said, you can't wear your, and I was 4 months into being a supervisor. From November, not even 4 months, 2 months. From November to January, I had just been capped in November. And it was a post that went up and said that you can't wear a habit in that dress, or you can't wear whatever it said. It was saying that.
Let me get a quote.
You know the quote? Oh, okay.
You can't have your titties out on Saturday and then being in your habit on Sunday.
Absolutely what it was. Yep, that's what it was. And it was shared on social media.
By who?
By another supervisor. By actually not even a peer. That was one of my, she's over the foreign supervisors. So she was, I don't know what you would call that. She's over me as a foreign supervisor. That would be my support. That's who I would go to if I need support. That's who I go to when I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm 2 months in. I don't know what I'm doing.
Like on the job, that would be like your regional.
That's my regional.
Yeah.
So not only was it shared, but there were comments from women that I know, that I grew up loving, that I have watched from afar and that I've watched up close, that came down the timeline and nobody corrected it. They bashed me on social media. They bashed me on Facebook.
I don't want you to laugh because
no, I'm not. That's like a nervous laugh. Yeah, they bashed me on Facebook. Older women.
It was like a stoning.
They beat me pretty bad, and so until I knew it was bad because I backed off and I didn't even respond because I didn't have a response. And nobody never came to me and said, hey, take them pictures down. They're not a good look. I probably would have received that if somebody came to me or if she came to me and said, hey, baby, that's really not a good look. You just got capped 2 months ago. You probably should take that down or don't post on social media. I hope you had a good time, but this is not how you gonna move. This is not how you grow. This is you're very what you're doing, and you're very public because of your age or because of whatever reason. Take it down. I probably would have just took it down. I probably would have mumbled under my breath, but I received what you're saying and take it down. But instead, it was posted on Facebook, and then when people went to defend me, then the comments were turned off. Now we stop in the comments because people are coming to my defense, because while you have a group of people who believe a certain way, I too have a group of people that say she's 43 and we want her to live. We like her authenticity that she gives us. She gives us hope as a young person that we don't have to be all closed up. But that goes back to your relationship. My relationship would have convicted me. And then it's almost started to set in that I was getting a little convicted. I was getting a little upset. But God fight for me. He defends me. When he said, don't respond, don't comment on the post, don't put up a post, don't say anything. And I'm like, I can't say nothing to defend myself. I can't pop off at all. He's like, no, don't say nothing.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I did.
What did you do?
I called another supervisor. It's actually assistant supervisor. And I said, did you see that? She hadn't seen it. And I said, this is why don't nobody want to be a part of that stuff. Because why in the world would another... I said, she a supervisor. You don't get to do that. That's a public... I said, you just going to beat up on the baby supervisor? I said, who going to do... Who gonna do something about
That
it?
probably was my inner self screaming that. Like, do anybody see me? Do anybody care?
Yes. And
Or do y'all only care about this title? Do y'all only
Right.
care about the looks of things? Do y'all care about how my mental health is? And I guess that opened me up to be able to see, and it made me more sensitive to how we bash people on social media, and we have no idea where they are and what they're going through and what they're experiencing. So it did make me very sensitive to comment, very sensitive to respond to people, even public figures, just to put my opinion out there. It did make me this last year, I have been very sensitive to how I respond to other people's issues.
And you know what? The reason that I said that is because, and then I told her, I showed her, and she was like, I'm going to talk to my supervisor and see, who she can talk to about it. Because I was like, it's not right. Because when I talked to you the second time, I felt, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like it had really hurt.
It did hurt.
I was like, the nerve of them. And I was just so disgusted by the whole thing that, I was heated. Now, did you, in the private moments, because I know you didn't say anything publicly, and I know you you didn't even say a whole lot when I talked to you. That's what made me know, like, okay, this is ugly.
It was bad.
How did you feel in your private moment during that time?
2 weeks later, I had to put on my stockings and my black and my hat and go sit at the leadership conference with them same people. 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks later, like that next weekend, I had to go sit at the leadership conference and speak to them same people who was like, it is what it is. And now I've been inducted into the Mean Girls Club. Because now somebody with authority has found an issue with you. And so now I won't talk to you because this person has an issue with you.
Right.
But one thing about it is, if nothing else, I always have my mother, who is my co-laborer.
Right.
So it was not like, I think if I wouldn't have had her, then I would have just kind of been standing in the corner like, what? Right. She like, no, put on your clothes. We going to the leadership conference. This is what you signed up to do. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter you have an assignment, and your assignment is not predicated by their attitude. You got to keep pushing. Pick up your chin. Let's go. Let's do this. Get in this car. We drive into Atlanta and we going to this function. And it probably would have been okay because I had beefed myself up. I had pre-gamed. I'm going to here with my head held high. But them same people walked by me and didn't speak. So now you playing toxic sisterhood with me. Because now you're not even speaking and you really don't even know me like that. You saw a picture and you choose to judge me by what you think you know about who you think
about the ugliness that y'all displayed.
That y'all started. And so now you want me to play into that. And so now I'm battling on spot. Do you roll your eyes? Or do you say, God bless you, mother? Do you have a bad attitude? Or do you smile? So I had to make a decision, and I'm not one who hold grudges. It takes too much to be upset, to be angry. And so I had to make a decision. God bless you, mother. You look beautiful today. Yeah. Still, and it's not even registering to me what God is doing. God is saying, I will take care of you. If you just trust me, if you believe in me, if you honor me in all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. None of that was registering to me, but it didn't age well. My Lord, it didn't age well.
It aged like goat cheese.
It aged like Gouda. Bad. It aged very bad.
But you want to tell me why you saying it didn't age well?
I'm saying it didn't age well because that same person, if you allow, let me just preface this, I have no issues with nobody. But if you allow, sometimes the enemy will allow you to be made to look crazy even when you're not. That same person went to an inauguration for the presiding bishop and they had their boobs out.
My God.
Now, mind you, you said they're not my peers because they what?
It made your peers.
Co-laborers. Because they how old? 65 and 70.
65 and 70 ain't your peers.
And they posted it on social media. Somebody kept saying, I'm not going to laugh. They kept saying that bolo. But, and I don't even think it was her character. But I got to prove a point to you.
Yes. God did it.
God, I have to prove a point to you that you are not above because of your age, because of your position, because of your title, that I am the same God that take care of you will take care of her. The same enemy that I will allow to use you for that, I will allow him to flip around and make you it. And I don't even know if it registered to you.
Well, I'll be the person to say it then, because I went on there and there was some, I don't know who she is. She seemed to be a woman of the cloth. She went on there and said beautiful, but too much cleavage. And I said, well, she did her better than she did you.
She did. And then, here's the thing. That was a lesson for me. And maybe everything Ashia you do, you can't post. Because people are watching you. It is young women watching you. It is women who are aspiring to be things that see you, and everything you can't. It's not even posting. You can't move like you normally used to.
Right.
Because there's a light and there's a target that is on you. And so I made the adjustment to know that some stuff would be like, you don't want to do that because you don't want to go through this again, or you don't want to be seen in that light. So I learned my lesson from it.
But there was a better way to learn it.
It was absolutely a better way. So now, what does that do to me in a sisterhood?
Right.
Now, what does that do to me when I really need help in the foreign fields? That relationship still to this day has not been repaired.
I was just about to ask, did you ever receive an apology?
Absolutely not.
Have you forgiven her?
According to them, I'm a minor.
Huh?
Yeah. I forgive her.
A minor?
They YN me. They YN me. So
and see, this is what happens when middle-aged people get a new term and
they run to the ground. They YN me. They YN me. Yeah.
Your godson would say, "No,
don't use it no more."
Don't use it no more.
I ain't gonna use it no more, godson. But no, I haven't gotten an apology. I forgive her because, like I said, it just didn't age well. I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to fight.
Hold your peace.
Let the Lord fight your battle.
That's the well. I say we put a pin. We wrap a bow on that, because that
wrap a bow, pun intended.
Oh Lord, we gonna get off. We gonna get off that. What was it like? What was it like being capped at the convention?
What a very emotional moment. I had no idea. I don't be crying. I cried thug tears. I was like, what is happening? You know how you start trying not to cry and your lip going down? That cry? Yeah.
I did cry watching it. I was like,
what's happening? Yeah, what is bubbling in me? But I started seeing things. I mean, like, for real. I wish it could be like, for real, reality TV flashback. Because I started seeing things of how I fought depression, about how I was the least likely. Even though people may have seen it, to me, I was the least likely to be standing there. How generational legacy was a blessing to me. How the very thing that I didn't want turned out to be so beneficial in the church. It's not much further that I can go in the church as far as role and assignment. It doesn't get much grander than the position that I took on. And then I started to think about my grandfather and how proud he would be, and how proud my Granny Fanny would be. You wouldn't be able to stop her from saying big baby at that place. Somebody would have had to get them there. I don't care how old they would have been. They would have been there. Granny would have interrupted that whole program.
Yes.
So I all of that started flashing before me. And then not only that, but I also had those moments of, what are you doing? And I was sitting in my seat and I looked at another young supervisor sitting next to me. And as we going through it, I was sitting in my seat and I said, whoa. She said, what's wrong? I said, girl, we got to be buried in these ugly things. I said, we got to be buried. Forget the dress that's flowing out. Because y'all, if you know me, you know that I'm very open with death and funerals and all of that good stuff. It's just my thing. I watch funerals and all of that. Forget the dress flowing out. I got to be buried in a habit. And she was like, whoa, this is real. So it was surreal. It was very surreal. Then I thought about when my mom got capped. And so that was very real too.
Yeah, it was something to see. And then to have your brother
standing
and your
behind
mother there, and
my
your dad there,
my daughter.
your daughter.
Here's a single mom from South Haven, Michigan.
Yeah, yeah.
Who wasn't supposed to. That, I mean, even though when people would look at it, it was like, that's what she was supposed to do. If you really know my life, that ain't what I was supposed to do.
Right.
I thought I was gonna be.
I
couldn't rap, but I wanted to be JT and City Girls. I was gonna be JT to her. That's what I was trying to be. I wasn't trying to be no missionary. I was trying to. It wasn't Atlanta then. We was trying to make it to New York.
Right.
We wanted to make it to New York. We tried to make it. I didn't want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like all of that leads to the tears. Like you say, when I watched it, you know, I'm thinking the same stuff you thinking, like where we were. Like you say, there were times where we both were in positions where I tell it all the time.
Where the feds got us on the highway.
we was drunk. We was out of
wake
order.
Up, don't know where your car is.
There were days, like you say, I would say if I don't wake up tomorrow, I will be just fine with that.
Yep.
And to go from that to today is really just a testament to, like you say, the legacy and the people that prayed for us. And that's why I don't, that's why my feelings towards the church can never be, nobody can tamper with that because I know the benefit of it.
Of those prayers.
Of sitting in those services and all of those things. So let me ask you this. Out of all the initiatives that you've cultivated and birthed out, Wake Up Girl and Pray. Why is that one so special? Most dear to you? Why is that?
Everything else was a plan. Everything else I planned out. Everything else I was able to cultivate it myself. This is a God moment. Trust and believe that Ashia on no day would not wake up at 3:30 in the morning to pray with y'all. So I know it's God. And so when it birthed, it started off me fasting and praying for my sister-in-law for 30 days because she had a big conference coming up. And God said, you need to go on a fast and fast for her. And I fasted for those 30 days. And he said, now invite the people in. And I said, nah, I don't need nobody to interrupt my fast. Because, you know, when you start bringing people in the fast with you, they like, girl, I cheated today. Or I did this.
So
and it get a little shaky. The more people you bring in, the more shaky it get. Now you're trying to watch and see if they on social media and all of this. So he said, invite the people in. And I was like, come on, Jesus. And then he said, now go live and pray. I said, no. And he said, go live and pray at 5 a.m. You tripping. Ain't no way. But this is why it's my baby. We grow together. It has made me get in his word. The word comes to the giver first, right? So I take a bite out of that bread and then I give it to him. So it has made me study. It's made me pray. It's made me stay pure. It's made me, when I've even wanted to make some horrible decisions and horrible mistakes, say, you can't do that. You got to pray in the morning. You got to pray in the morning. I mean, like in the morning. You got to pray in the morning. You can't say that. After you post that, you think you go get on here and pray?
Right.
After you move this way, you think, so it's almost kind of selfish because it really ain't for the people. It's for me. It's to keep me in good standings. It's to keep my relationship together. Not that if it stopped, I would crumble, but it's pushed me to a place of never. I told you I didn't want intercession to be my thing. I was okay with doing something else. I'm okay with serving. I'm okay with sitting in the back of the church. I'm okay with being on the media team. I'm okay with working with the young people. I'm okay with all of that. But prayer and intercession, because it takes another level of commitment to be able to intercede for others, especially when you're going through something.
Absolutely.
And so that it just kind of birthed this way into something, and now that's my baby.
You know what? When I was thinking about it, the reason that, and like I say, you had not told me that, but I just kind of felt like, I guess maybe I thought myself that it is just the most special. And the reason that I feel like that is because it goes outside of the walls of the church, outside of your normal audience, and it brings in individuals who otherwise may not, you know what I mean, may not have the benefit of that, may not have a prayer circle like that, may not have somebody that can keep them accountable, may not have that. And so to see people from all walks of life wake up, girl and boy, and pray, I think that is the one that I think should make you most proud. That's the thing that I think should make you most proud, but that's just my thing. Well, since we kind of dipped our toe in this, but we just want to make it plain for the people. You know, the folk want to know if you dating and what's your
Mighty Christ!
What's your
pow, 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 pow from the hip. I should have asked for these questions.
Hey, you didn't want the questions.
Yeah, I didn't want the questions. I done messed up. You know you done messed up, right? You done messed up.
You done messed up. Right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm out here in these streets. It's been difficult. I ain't in the streets. I'm out here in this dating pool, right? And I'm almost afraid to. What is that that's bubbling up in me? I'm almost afraid to say the difficulty that I've had while trying to be saved and maintain that spiritual relationship with Christ and still date. But I have found someone. I have found someone
Come on
that I believe that I love, and I believe that he loves me.
Come on here.
There's something very pure about a woman who gets love properly.
Come on
without being sexed down, without being So here's the tidbit, and the funny thing about it is everything that I said I didn't want, that I've been posting on social media for 10 years. I got jokes. I got jokes.
That's why
I got jokes.
People got to stop.
That's why since I didn't put this on this podcast, that thing better work. It better stick like glue. Because I done said this on this podcast.
You done said this out loud.
I done said this out loud. It better stick like glue. It's something very pure. It's something very organic. It's had its tests. It's had its attacks. We both are in ministry. He's a pastor. He's a pastor, and good old country boy.
Wait a minute now.
Good old country boy.
Okay. Well, I ain't gonna
Don't put my business out there. Don't put my business out there. Now, the last person I told they wouldn't follow them on every social media platform. I said, "What are you doing?"
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Very good man. Very good man. Sometimes God will send you what you don't think you need, and the very thing that you don't think you need. He said, "I'm not even looking out what you saying and all that stuff you posted. I'm gonna make a fool out of you. Keep on posting that you don't want a pastor. Keep on posting that you don't want no country boy. You looking for Hakeem with the Timbs on. Keep on posting. The man ain't never seen a pair of Timbs in his life.
Man got on hard bottom shoes,
slipping and sliding with soft with thin socks on. So it's working, and I pray that even in that we can be examples on how, because they tell us how to get married. They don't tell us how to date.
Right.
So we're figuring this thing out on our own. We know how to get married.
How long is the church going to fail in the singles ministry? I've never
believed in the singles ministry because it's normally 4 women, and 2 of them are dating the same person, and 1 gay guy, and they all come into the singles ministry, and y'all eating, and then the other 2 women.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you heard me.
Name them people again.
It's 4 women. 2 of them dating the same person.
2 dating the same.
1 dating a musician.
1 dating a musician.
1 is in a lavender marriage. Or want to be a lavender relationship.
What is a lavender relationship?
A lavender relationship is when you hide your identity by marrying someone else or going with somebody else. So that means a stud married a gay guy or go with the gay guy. So it's the cheat. They saying it's the cheat code. A stud woman.
A gay guy.
Mm-hmm. That's the cheat code because now they're not sinning.
I'm so confused.
Okay, so the stud girl.
The stud girl marries a gay guy.
Marries the gay guy.
Because he's feminine.
He's feminine, but she's the stud.
But she's the stud.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they go come at me because I'm not explaining it absolutely right, but that's the gist of it.
That's the gist of it.
And so you got them 4 people, and then you got the gay guy who is doing their hair and all of that.
Don't forget the person that been married since they was 2.
So how am I supposed to... And now they bitter because they divorced. How am I supposed to make that work? And I had just decided that he wasn't in the church. And I also had made a declaration and it still holds to this declaration today, that I was not going to date within my organization. I just didn't see it being beneficial.
So he ain't told you.
He's not.
Wait a minute. Now we getting to it. I think that may be more...
A little spicy.
That may be more spice than the hard bottom shoes.
Let me tell you.
What denomination is this man, Supervisor?
That's a good old Baptist man. Good old preaching
Baptist
man.
Preacher.
A good old Baptist. Early one Sunday morning.
I love the Lord. He heard my cry.
While playing the organ. While playing the organ.
You got a good one.
I never thought that the Baptist cry was gonna be attractive to me.
Listen, you gotta brush up on your
You must have seen prayer last week. Last week I said it came out of nowhere. At the cross, where I first Father. I said, what is happening?
Wait a minute. So you didn't already let loose of the yes, Lord?
No. Yes, Lord will be forever embedded.
The yes, Lord is deep.
I believe that a woman has the power to even change the religion of a man. Now, I ain't saying I'm trying to change it, but I believe that we have that power to do so. I believe we have that influence.
That you'll be a good Baptist missionary.
Jesus, help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. And I ain't talking about New Birth Baptist. It ain't Mount Zion Baptist.
It ain't Mount Zion.
No. This is
Second Baptist.
This is white on first Sunday, red flower Baptist.
Oh, geez.
This is the deacons open up the church Baptist.
That's what I'm talking about.
And in the country. But he's a good man, very, very good man. And we're building something.
That's wonderful.
Building something. Yeah, we're building something.
And I think
I got a drink after that.
I think
I got a little nervous. I
don't need to make you nervous. You good? We almost done.
I'm good. I didn't put myself out here.
You out there now. We gonna pray on.
Maybe that'll keep him out my DM.
Yeah, there you go. That's one way.
He goes down in a DM.
Listen, let me ask you this: how do you want to see the supervisor position evolve in the future? Or if at all, or you think it's good how it is?
So I'm coming to the realization as I progress in this thing, that it's a reason why these people are elevated when they're 65 and 70.
And what's that reason? Break it down for us.
I need you to tell me a job that gives you enough vacation time to go to every meeting that our grand old church has. I don't know a job that do it.
Right.
So being in corporate America, being a single mother, I'm like all the things that don't fit the role.
Right.
Corporate America, single mother, young, trying to live a life outside of church, where my life is not all church. I have businesses and different ventures. I got friends and people I want to travel and do all these things. And a lot of that it's not shaped. The position is not shaped for that. The position is almost, it reminds me sometimes of dang, I'm about to get in trouble, of being a nun. You know, they like, this is what you're doing and this is all you doing. And so I would like to see it evolve to a more accepting place of different, everybody don't have to move like you move. And that's how we grow. That's how we draw. I would like to see it for the voice of the younger women to be heard, and for us not to be treated like we just
Minors.
like we minors, like we're minors. Because I believe that we have something to say. Not just me, but there's a few other young women that we, my sisters that crossed over with me, that we have a voice, and we have, it may not look like what everybody else's look like, but we have a ministry and we have a heart for the word. A lot of us are not doing it for titles and position, but we're doing it because it's what we're called to do. So I would like to just see some openness with it. And I understand, as I work with young women, I understand why there's a standard, because they will run with if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Yeah. So I understand that you got to have a standard on it. But I think some of the things that we do are antiquated and definitely behind times of where we currently are. So I would like to see it progressing. And I think that a lot of, and I won't say that they're not, it's a lot of progression, especially with Mother Lewis, who is a master business mind on top of being anointed. She is doing some amazing things with the women of the Church of God in Christ. But I think there is so much more growth for us, and so many other places that we can reach, and so many other people that we are leaving behind that we can grasp if we would tweak a few things.
Now, I'm not gonna put you on the spot and say what things you feel ain't working, but you just feel like some things are just kind of outdated. Is that what I'm?
A Zoom meeting on a Monday at 1:00.
Yeah, how I'm
functioning?
How you get there?
How am I functioning? I'm at work in a meeting and I'm here in a meeting. I'm trying to finagle the two. It's Monday. It's top of the month. I got reports that's got to be turned in. I got things that's got to happen. So it's just things like that you like, this is not, or like I said, the vacation time for me to be at 9 meetings a year and each meeting is at least a week long. That's impossible for me to have any kind of balance in that. It's those are the things. It's not even the foundational things or the things that people probably would think it is. It's things like that.
But that's good though, because that's important. Balance is important in everything. We talk about that at work a lot. That the work-life balance. It's the same thing. Now you're trying to balance the third thing in there. So I definitely get that. So when you take your habit off
and put it in the back of the closet,
so it don't burn up.
They have to go in the back of the closet, all the way in the back.
Look,
when I take it off, I push it all the way to the back of the closet.
Mine in the other room.
Yeah, no, I go to the back of the closet.
No, seriously though. When you take your habit off and lay down that title and take your final walk on to glory, what do you want the people to say about you?
First thing, that I was an amazing mother. I want to be known to be an amazing mother. I want to strive to be an amazing mother. That's my number one goal. As having a teen, my focus has been to not, and it's going to sound crazy, but I cannot release a trifling individual into this world like that. I don't know if that happens with all moms or if they get to that point where they like, I just don't. So I want that to be the number one. But I want to be known as someone who changed the system of what it looked like to be a supervisor, to be young, to be saved, to be ride or die for him. I want to be known as the intercessor and I want to be known for my relationship with him. And then also that I did give up some things. I did give up some things to work and to be where I am today. It wasn't all easy. It wasn't all okay. It wasn't all cool. I had to lay some things down. I had to give up dating like I wanted to. I had to give up these things. So I want them to see the glory that was produced from my story. Do you see and do you know the glory? So was I a good mother? Yeah. Did I have a relationship with the Father? And did you know that I had a relationship with the Father? I understand what lukewarm is. Now, I didn't know what it was when I was a kid, but I want you to know that She lived for God. I want to have a homegoing. I don't want to have no funeral.
Well, there you go.
I don't want no funeral.
I think that said it all, right?
Give me a funeral.
Wait, say that again one more time.
I don't want to. I don't want to have a home. I want to have a homegoing. I don't want to have a funeral.
You don't want to have a funeral.
Oh, y'all dancing at my
honey,
funeral.
I don't want you to have a funeral either. I think that's it, big baby. I'm so glad that you came and took this time with us to give them a little glimpse into the millennial supervisor.
Every time I think about it, I say, what? Every time I put on that habit, what have I gotten myself into? What am I doing?
Do you want to shout somebody out before we get out of here? Because I didn't hear you get nobody no shout out.
Yeah, I got to shout out Kennedy, my daughter. Kennedy, my daughter. I got to shout out to my son. May his soul rest in peace, Christian Tyler Simpson. My mom, Abundant Faith. My dad, my bishop, and my siblings, Amir and Kenya. And all of my family, Mays, Cunningham, Simpsons, all of them. I love them. And I shout out to the Church of God in Christ, because no matter what people say about y'all, y'all make some amazing people, humans in this world. So I shout them out to my co-laborers. I'm gonna stop calling them my peers, my co-laborers. I shout them out because they are overall. One bad apple don't spoil the bunch. I ain't gonna let them say that. They have all been. It's been an amazing source of strength and support. So I love all of them, namely Mother Bogan, who keeps me in a line. Love her dearly. So that's my shout out, and all my friends and family.
Thank you so much, Supervisor.
I'm losing my religion. I've realized I wasn't built for these conditions.
They say it's spending on business. I say it's spending on play. You winning like I'm in the living. With God in first place. Love can never be defeated. Cause I keep scriptures on replay. I keep breaking through in every season. I'm followed by goodness to celebrate. I'm stepping on X and ain't boot a muscle. Got favor them blessings. Falling like water. Wake up to new grace. Thank God that's my father. I'll pass every test and then I'll go harder. Let go. They say it's spending on business. I say it's spending on play.